Okay, I think that we are live, which is awesome. So welcome back everyone. I think I started 1 minute earlier, but you know, if you're watching the video it doesn't matter. However, the truth is that we are starting 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Hello everyone and Happy New Year. Mostly because it's a new year. And it's a happy one. I mean, who would say otherwise? Okay, clearly I've got nothing to talk about. Let's just move on. So, what I usually like doing is get a Hungarian expression, type it in Google, and it will be fun. And then this time it's just like a big place in Hungary. That's the big plain. It's very famous. It has a bridge. And also, like, what is this? Like, seriously, I was just like, the Hungarian edition of 50 Shades of Grey. Oh, good lord. And the truth is that actually, I don't think they have 50 Shades of Grey. I think they have more. So, that's just whatever. Anyways. Right, so I hope this new year will be fun for everyone. It has been fun for me, so let's start with some basic stuff. I collected all the URLs that we kinda need, not for today, but in general. So first of all, there is this URL that obviously you should share with everyone because it's so unbelievably important. It's the URL of this live project, which is youtube.com/Hungarian project/live. Oh yeah, it's very complicated. But I think we can all manage it. I did it, so I'm the living proof that it can be done. If I can do it, anyone can do it. Anyways, and there is this thing that I'm doing with a friend. It's facebook.com/Hungarian online. It has the stupidest URL ever, because when I registered the page I didn't really think it through, but we came up with this word of the day thing, and if you are learning Hungarian you should check that out because it's fun. If you haven't, if you have, then you know I'm just talking about stuff that doesn't matter. But and then of course there is my website ckg.hu/learn-hungarian, where you can learn more about how to learn Hungarian. Well, you know, really it's just like a page regarding some Hungarian stuff. Okay, now so usual method. I'm talking about nothing at all until I receive some questions. If you have any questions, please don't forget to write them down in the chat window. But if you don't have any questions, I'm not gonna talk about cows. I know I like cows, but it's just the thing is that I cannot talk about cows forever. So instead, I decided that I should talk a little bit more about the prefixes in Hungarian. Oh, hello! Well, Happy New Year. So, I'm good, thank you, which in Hungarian would say, well, the short answer, Köszönöm jól, which I can actually write down, spells like this. Now, hello, which is awesome, but if I want to elaborate on that, I have to do two things. First of all, I have to speak Hungarian, saying stuff like, köszönöm, meg vagyok, de igazából az a helyzet, hogy fáj minden csontom, és ez a tél ez nagyon hideg, sokkal hidegebb, mint gondoltam volna. That's the first thing. The second thing is the content of what I should say, and whenever someone asks a Hungarian person how they are, the answer is usually something like this, like, well, you know, this winter is colder, and complaint and complaint and complaint, which is the way we deal with things. However, it's very strange that people really tell you how they are, often in great details. Now, I grew up here, and before I started doing any sort of traveling, I thought that, well, obviously this is how you have to live life. And I thought to myself, that is a horrible way to live life. Because the truth is that you can't just like live life like that. You can't just trigger a person and then they just tell you all the things. And now that I went to other places, in the US, or just not in the US, but that's just such a great example. It's a short name. I mean, I could say the UK as well, or Australia, but then, I mean, the US, everyone knows the US. So in the US, you ask people how they are, and then they say like, oh, fine, thanks, cool. And then that's awesome. However, after a while, as I heard, this keeps being starting to be annoying. And after a while, the only thing that you can say to someone who asks like, hey, how do you do? Then it's like, I'm great. Even if, your legs are missing and stuff. But technically, if there is something would exist in the middle, that would be obviously awesome. So, well, hopefully there is anyway. So these are the two extremes. So like telling everything just after being asked how I am, or not telling anything. So, I mean, I could go into sciencey stuff, which, because I'm not a scientist, that would be utterly stupid. I'm going there anyways. And then like suicide rates and stuff, I don't think that affects them too much. So it's like either you're not supposed to say anything, or you're supposed to tell them the story of your life, especially regarding current events. So that's not something that, yeah, well, you get the point. I'm pretty sure that I mostly over-explained it now. So I'm gonna stick to the short answer, köszönöm jól, and then of course I can ask like, és hogy van, namingly because the question that indicated this is this. But since I'm that sort of evil person, disregarding humanity and all sorts of social norms, I can criticize the whole thing, which is, I can always hide behind the fact that I'm supposed to be a teacher. So, look, this is the formal version of things, which is fantastic. It's a great use. You nailed it, seriously. Except this part, where when you're using formal, it's not enough just to use formal, and that's why I don't refuse but discourage people asking me to teach them formal, at least on a beginner level, because the problem is all the implications it has over the language. Formal is not just about using the third person, it's not just about using un. By the way, never use maga, like ever, because it's rude. And who says it's rude? Well, like people. Obviously, I mean, society comes up with crazy rules at some points. By the way, let me take this short amount of time to reflect on the last 8 minutes and say that my computer has not crashed, which is fantastic. Probably it's going to crash in like 1 minute. Well, yeah, well, that's a fact. But until then, I will try to explain it again. So now, after this tiny cigarette break, everybody is enjoying it, I'm pretty sure. So no questions yet, but I'm pretty sure that what I'm saying is life-changing. So naturally, this must be sort of explained in great depth. So diving deep into this formal form of Hungarian, you're not supposed to use someone's first name. Now, basically, if I was named this Kis Béla, which Kis means small, but it's no way on reflecting anyone's size. It's just Hungarians put the family name in the first place, and the given name or Christian name or first name, just to confuse everyone, in the second place. Now, this is cool, because if you are using the formal form, then you're supposed to use my supposed family name, which in this case, well, obviously I don't think that's my real name, although I keep forgetting things, so that could be the case. I don't know. But if I was named Kis Béla, then you could say Kis. Technically the Mr. is missing. So let me fix this. Let's say that Kis is the family name. So there you go. So now, because everything can be turned into something insanely useful, if you are stopped by the police in Hungary, they will use, and they speak Hungarian to you for some reason. At first, you know, nobody has written on their forehead that they don't speak Hungarian, except if you have a foreign license plate. But if you come from America, my usual example, then probably you're not driving. I mean, maybe it would be possible, like through the North Pole and Russia and stuff like that, but I doubt that for my example anyone would do this. So well, okay, so going back to the thing, úr, that's perfectly fine. Obviously úr always goes after the thing. So if you're stopped by the police, they will say Kis úr, and obviously they will have to say something like jó napot, because that is one of the formal greetings in Hungarian. So there we go. Fixed it. But in all honesty, obviously I'm not named Kis, I'm named Kovács, which is the equivalent of Smith in English. So there you go. Now you know a great deal about me. So that's, I guess, being part of famous. I don't know. Whatever. So there you go. That is the completely and utterly fixed version of what you were trying to say, quite successfully though, at least halfway through. So yes. Water. I mean, nobody pays me to actually advertise water, but I would be a millionaire if someone did, actually. Ah, well. So now, and I'm pretty sure that somebody among us has a question, because that somebody told me that he has a question. It's just somebody's being shy. But before somebody gets unshy, let me just, like, why are there so many Hungarian people in Hungary? Or not sure. Okay, let me do this. So one question, is this supposed to be something else than Hungary? Because if this is Hungary, then the question is, why are there so many Hungarian people? As in, the question would be, why is the society so homogeneous? So let me think about that. I'll let you think about that as well. So fun stuff. This is almost good, as always. Oh, Romania, right. So why are there so many Hungarians in Romania? That is a way better question. As in, like, that makes sense to me more. Okay, let me get back to you with that one. However, that is the correct version of it. Obviously, I will correct everyone because I'm evil, but This one, I have an explanation for that. So it's not just me being evil, but you... First of all, when you're talking about like water and stuff, I don't know why I grabbed this. When you're talking about water and stuff, it's definite, because we both know what we're talking about. That the water. For some reason, Hungarians, when we talk about, I don't know, dogs and whatever, we think of them at the top. We think of the topic as opposed to English, we think of the topic as definite. So this like the thing. So there you go. Szereted, because it's definite, and of course because of the v's, you need to use e as the connecting vowel. Now when it comes to connecting vowels, they are horrible. I know they are horrible. Even Hungarians could get into arguments, because sometimes it's just like, well, you know, let me distract it. So she wrote Romania. Yes, well, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, here, just going back to the thing, but anyways, so now that we cleared up the water thing, let's go back to the original question. So why are there so many people in Romania? The answer to that is not that complicated. At least I have a simple answer. Maybe that will make sense. So I think I talked about this a tiny bit before. But the way it works is that the current borders of Hungary was decided in the 1920s, after the end of the First World War, in a peace treaty. Wow, I can't talk. I really can't talk. Anyways, peace treaty. So these borders we have now are defined by a treaty, and Great Hungary, which people Hungarians would love to have again, but obviously the political situation is not that, is a bit tricky, mainly because we lost twice in both world wars. So there we go, this would be this whole Great Hungary. Now, roughly nowadays, Hungary is the half the size of the original, and so as you can imagine, this is the reason why there are so many Hungarians in surrounding countries, because of this. If I remember correctly, I talked about this a bit before, which doesn't mean that it was a bad question, but I could refer back to some of my older streaming videos, which, yeah, I wish I could have a good memory. So there we go. Now, one very interesting thing that fascinates everyone, I'm pretty sure, is that nowadays, when it comes to counties of Hungary, and if you go around here, actually I can even show it to you. The counties of Hungary are quite interesting. They don't have a normal name. Just look at it. I mean, okay, Budapest, that's fine. Pest, awesome, fantastic, that's for a county. Heves, awesome. Csongrád, Békés, everything is cool. And then you have stuff like Győr-Moson-Sopron, or Komárom-Esztergom, or Borsod-Abaúj-Zemplén, or Szabolcs-Szatmár-Bereg, which actually they were separate counties. If you look at it, oh, there you go. This is Szabolcs, and this is Bereg, for instance, and this one is Szatmár. Now, obviously, this tiny brown patch is not a county. I mean, cannot be counted as a county. It's too little. So instead, preserving the names, they created all these crazy stuff. So that must have been super interesting for everyone. But yeah, okay. So, there we go. So, Romania, and then there we go. Like, my middle name was Debreceni, which I was surprised to learn is supposedly common in Hungary. Well, yeah, I would say it's common. It is quite common to have a family name resembling some sort of place. So there you go. Or something very common like a blacksmith. Now, there we go. So this is another question. Probably a fun question. Let's see. Are these the same as asztal, alatt? That's alatt. So az asztal alatt van egy szék. Egy szék az asztal alatt van. Technically, yes. I mean, now they are both correct. After I corrected this one, which originally was állat, which is animal. So let's examine these sentences. There is the noun in here. I mean, probably that is not the subject of the sentence because that is here, but in this case let's not care about all that. Let's just go over the expressions. So asztal would be the chair. Why? It's only Wednesday. Why am I saying szék is the chair? Quite obviously. And asztal is table. Well, that was a hard one, even for me. So, alatt means under. So, I'm pretty sure that now everybody has concluded that this means there is a chair under the table. Even though, as opposed to English in Hungarian, we put these placement words after the expression. So yeah, and there we go. So the question is, if we reorder the sentence, how much would that change? And well, I have two answers: yes, no, which is weird because the original question was how much would it change, but you know, there is always the thing that nothing changes, because if you simplify it to death, which if you're a beginner you're supposed to be, then they mean the same completely. It's the same meaning. There is the chair and then it's under the table. Awesome. The second answer is like, well, yeah, it's obviously due to the different order, there is a different meaning. I mean, there must be. So in this case, just for this example, the first one is quite casual. It says like, oh yeah, the under the table there's just the chair. Well, it's fine. The second one is referring that some chair, like it's nothing in particular, but a chair is under a table, which is a tiny bit different, because in the first situation that is highlighted with blue right now, it's just casually saying that, oh yeah, so you know, there's a chair under the table, there is the chandelier up there on the ceiling or whatever. It's like describing a room. The second one is describing mostly chairs, like 5 chairs are in the storage room, but 1 chair is under the table, so we still have to put that away because it's the end of the party, or something like that. So essentially this is again a yes and no answer. Okay, Now, next brilliant question, which, okay, there you go, and I missed is hair countable or uncountable? For example, I have long hair, but in some language, yeah, okay. No, it's just like in English. It's uncountable. I mean, if you want to, I mean, English, you will never say like, you can say a hair, but in Hungarian, we have two words. Actually, the second one is a made-up compound word. So there is hogy, which is hair itself, and then hajszál, which is a thread of hair, if that makes sense at all. So that's the thing. Alright, well, see you, Amanda. Sorry that this streaming stuff is not during the best time. But, well, right now I can't do much more because, I mean, technically, we can have a poll about it because I might be able to put it an hour later, but I doubt that it would help a lot because that's in like central US, it's 4 as opposed to 3. So, yeah, nothing helps really. Anyway, so to those who have to go back to work, enjoy your work. It's a fantastic Wednesday, and here in Hungary it's about like -4 at the moment, and they say it's going to be -15 or something or -18 during the weekend. I'm looking forward to that one because I'm gonna spend it in here where it's warm. So there you go. Oh yeah, okay. So, well, right. There is another question. So, do I know about things? Udvar Hazy, co-founder of the International Lease Finance. No. I mean, that would be this could be a family name. Sounds kind of noble of origin, but no. Unfortunately, the answer is sadly no, I don't know. But hey, there is something on Wikipedia. Airlace Corporation, stuff like that. Awesome. In 1958. Oh yeah. So as usual, I mean, I haven't talked about much. I haven't talked much about the 1956 period, which was, the revolution and stuff like that. And but that is something like a big thing. What you're supposed to know, or you should know, is that in modern Hungary, since the 1800s, let's say that's kind of modern, in Hungary there are two major revolutions that everybody knows about. One of them was 1848 and started at the 15th of March, if I can spell it, which is actually a holiday right now. What? No. And that would be the 48-49 revolution and freedom fight. Unfortunately, we lost against the Habsburg and stuff like that, and obviously Russia helped, so we kind of have a rough relationship with Russia when it comes to history. And the other one would be 1956. Now, the beginning of 19 56 was the 23rd of October, also a holiday, and that was very, very short because it started in October and in November it ended. So there we go. If you think about it, the Second World War ended around like what, 40, 44, 45, and 10 years later it was kind of the beginning of this whole socialist era, because after 56 there were like 66, 76, 86, 30 and a little bit. So more than 30 years passed before the Iron Curtain fell. So to me that's always interesting to look at, that this was not around the end of this whole socialist era. This wasn't something that was triggered by, this was triggered by the beginning. So now look, I'm not saying that capitalism is awesome. It's certainly not a very good system, but the kind of socialist system that was created even in the beginning immediately showed that it's not going to work. Because the problem with this whole socialist and communist ideology is that it's awesome on paper. Unfortunately, when it comes to actual results, like real life actions, corruption almost always appears. And then, of course, it's more complicated, because corruption in a capitalist system works in a way that if you have the money to bribe someone, there you go. It doesn't matter if you have all the connections. I could know Johnny Depp, but what would that, or even I could even know Putin. What would that accomplish? I mean, I can ask him to be nice and, I don't know, make me the emperor of the earth. But what is it for him? Why would he make that deal? And obviously, so capitalism, however bad it is, it kind of allows not to have that much corruption, at least not that easily. So anyways, basically my point is that that was a big problem. All right, more questions. So cool. If I want to say we will come to Hungary very soon, it would be Fogunk, menni, or just megyünk. Well, I mean, both. Choose whichever. But as always, because I must be evil, megy is to go, jön is to come. So in English you said come, so that would be jön, jönni, or jövünk. But technically, I mean, I understand your point and you're right. I mean, now, at some point, I'm pretty sure that I talked about future. And I'm pretty sure that might have mentioned, but if not, I will mention it now. My point when it comes to tenses in Hungary is that there are 3, but we only use 2. One of them is present, the other is past. And even though you're technically and even socially all right when you use the future tense of Hungarian, it's not necessary according to Hungarians, because we are weird people. So yes, if I skip any questions, now just I'm trying to review them, but I'm not trying to, if someone is watching this as a video, probably they would be very, very bored if this whole streaming would be about, or was about me looking at comments. So just like, you can always repeat it. If you think that I did not give you the proper answer, just repeat the comment, and that's perfectly fine. And then, of course, every time I'm sorry that I skipped it. I have a horrible memory. So there we go. What else is there? Well, I mean, I will not talk about the things and the stuff, and there we go. Well, I guess you can't look at Hungarian history and be sad all the time. I mean, we are certainly not sad all the time, and we are Hungarians. So it's pretty alright. I think the greatest example when it comes to this great Hungary is Croatia, or at least whatever is current day Croatia. Because if you look at the map, that's pretty much Croatia right there. Oh, hello. And if you look at it, and you have a very good eye, you could see stuff like Fejér as a county, Veszprém, Somogy, Zala, all sort of like Hungarian, and then you start to see not really Hungarian names like Varasd and Pozsega, Zágráb, Modrus, Fiume, Lika, Krbava, which I don't think I should ever pronounce. And if you take a look at it, that because they don't sound Hungarian, there must be something fishy going on. And the truth is, and it's not very well taught, not even when it comes to history in schools in Hungary, that the way it worked is around the 1500s, lots of land were conquered by Hungarians, and even land which was foreign. So when it comes to Great Hungary, we have to be honest with ourselves, and this part around the actual sea, the Mediterranean Sea, is not Hungarian, has never been Hungarian, at least ethnically. But it was part of Hungary in a way, but it enjoyed a sort of autonomous relationship with Hungary. I mean, there was some autonomy, especially around the sea. We needed the sea, obviously. They enjoyed whatever wealth we could provide, if that was the truth, and that was it, mostly. Now, it's different when it comes to Transylvania, because Transylvania features a lot of people that speak actual Hungarian. And so I guess that even though it was kind of an autonomous area, it was more like Hungarian than the seaside. So anyways, I could say that this was a pretty good deal that we enjoyed for a very long time. Unfortunately, especially in modern history, I mean, I mentioned the 1848 revolution. There was this thing called the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And I would say that, yeah, this looks alright. And so basically one half was Hungary, the other half was uh, Austria. And together we were actually able to sort of maintain this, let's call it, empire. But then Hungarians never liked it. I don't know why. I did not live in that era. Maybe it was horrible. Maybe it was okay and people just complained. But, well, I don't know. But the truth is that this was an arrangement that was supposedly not very good for Hungary. And I guess the biggest argument when it comes to backing this up is that because the official casus belli, the official reason for the for World War I was that the heir to the throne was killed in Sarajevo, and because he had nothing to do with Hungary per se, we still had to go to war because it was that sort of alliance. But again, the truth is that you can always blame others for your failures, or you can always blame others for the bad things that happen to you, and sometimes you're right, sometimes you're not, and I'm not a historian and I can't answer that question. Was it good? Was it bad? I don't know. I just wanted to inform everyone that was the case. So yeah. Dentist. Yeah, well, I have to be honest, my dentist is kind of cool. So if I'm not sure that she would want to have me advertise her. So for the time being, let's say that if you or anyone sends me a private message, then I can give you her like website address and whatever. She doesn't really have a website address, she just have a listing, so that's why I'm not sure. But just send me a private message and I can hook you up with not drugs but dentist. Anyways, so the Habsburg ruling was hated. Yeah, I guess that is what it was. I mean, look, if I had to guess, I could say that a Hungarian speak Hungarian, which is logical, I know. And we love being this unique butterfly. Even in the European Union, I mean, look at the policies of our current Prime Minister, always talking against the European Union. You know, like, the policy is, the politics is bad, we can do it better, and we spend money on football stadiums. And the European Union cannot stop the immigrants, and we have to stop them, so we build a fence and treat them horribly. And like, okay, fine. I mean, certainly we deal with stuff in a unique way, but I can't say it's a good way. So, whatever the case is, you might hate it or love it or whatever, but we love being this weird, unique nation. So I guess calling it the Austro-Hungarian Empire gives us bad PR. So, and of course, Hungarian was spoken in Hungary as the official language, but the official language of the empire was German, Austrian German. So, yeah. And, oh yeah, sorry about that one, not fixing one. Actually, almost. This one should be yo, because yo means good, yo means well, as in like, oh, I'm doing well. And you should use vannak because you did put this in plural. So yeah, that's a good question. Now again, mind you, I'm evil and I fix everything, but if you ask that question, it's fine. Like, people will understand it. There's no need to be shy about it. Not technically not correct, but nobody will try to put you in an electric chair just because you made that sort of mistake. Alright, so very suddenly, but according to the new rules, from now on, and I will just notify you as soon as possible, I will try to have 2 streamings a week. But the downside is that each streaming will be 45 minutes, because I said that I've got other things to do, and I need this 15 minutes. So, thank you for the questions. They were very interesting, at least to me, definitely. And keep coming and whatnot, because, you know, this is quite enjoyable. So thank you again for watching. Don't forget to come next time, and I will put this thing into the video description when I upload it in a couple of minutes. So there we go. I believe that this concludes today's episode of this streaming. I still don't have a name for it, so yeah. Alright. Goodbye.